There are very few movies that encapsulate the wonderful era of Disney Channel that was the mid to late 2000s than the Disney Channel original movie Jump In, a movie starring Corbin Bleu, fresh off his appearance in High School Musical, and Keke Palmer, fresh off her appearance in Aquila and the Bee.
Baby, this is Keke Palmer.
Jump In follows the adventures of an up-and-coming boxer named Izzy, which is short for Isidore apparently, that wants to follow in the footsteps of his father but simultaneously develops an appreciation for another sport, jump roping. Will he continue in the path of his father, a once great boxer, or is he going to be like, nah, I'm gonna do my own thing? Well, considering all of the advertising and promos for this movie is jump rope related, I'll let you figure that one out. Get ready to push it to the limit because I, Mr. Nostalgia, will be reviewing the cult classic Disney Channel original movie Jump In.
This movie is Jumpin'. Get ready for all the double dutch in action in the Disney Channel original movie Jump In. Coming up next.
As mentioned earlier, Jump In is a 2007 Disney Channel original movie starring Corbin Bleu and Keke Palmer. It is directed by Peter Hohen, who is known by many for directing a few episodes of Zeke and Luther. The soundtrack, on the other hand, was also very successful, landing at number 5 on the Billboard Top 100 during its debut. Push It to the Limit specifically was a smash hit, landing on 14 on the Top 100 list, which is nuts. That song and maybe a couple scenes from this movie are the only real memories I have from it, so I was admittedly pretty curious to see how well it has stood the test of time. So without any further ado, let's get into the actual film. In the opening scene, we are greeted by Corbin's character Izzy Daniels, jump roping as part of his training. Thanks to some mysterious narration, we find out that he's actually a boxing teen sensation, that is, at least supposed to, follow in the footsteps of his dad, to become the next great boxer from New York. So, fun fact, when I watched this movie for the first time for this video, I actually went ahead and tracked down the Jump In pop-up edition, which aired on Disney Channel a few months after its premiere. And basically, the only difference is that throughout the film, little facts about it would pop up on the screen, breaking down different aspects of it. And although the frequency of the pop-up started to get a bit annoying, I'm actually glad I watched this because I learned something really useful. Turns out the dude who plays his dad is actually his dad, and I would not have known that had I not watched the pop-up edition. I apologize to the Corbin Bleu fans out there. I'm sorry I'm not caught up with all the Corbin Bleu lore. Some other useful stuff I learned during this little montage of Izzy dancing around his neighborhood is that this movie was filmed in Toronto despite it taking place in New York, and this fruit stand is actually a lawyer's office apparently. One thing I appreciate about this scene is how it instantly establishes the fact that Izzy is both well known and well respected in his community. Kinda reminds me of the first scene of The Mighty Bee, actually, believe it or not. While making his way through the city, he comes across a bunch of girls jump roping and interrupts them. One of these girls is Keke Palmer's character, Mary.
Baby, this is Keke Palmer.
The others are her friends, Shauna, Keisha, and Yolanda. Turns out, Izzy just likes messing with them, specifically Mary. She tells him to go away because he's annoying her, but the rest of the girls are quick to pick up on the fact that she actually kinda likes him. Yeah, so this was another thing that I didn't know about the movie prior to watching it. I was kind of under the impression that given the 4-year age gap between Corbin Bleu and Keke Palmer, Corbin would have been more of a big brother figure instead of a potential romance interest. So whenever I see these two bickering on screen, it just gives me starstruck vibes because there is about a 5-year age gap between Sterling and Danielle in that movie, despite them also playing each other's love interests. But like I said in that video, that was something that was relatively common back then with kids media. Izzy makes his way back home just in time for dinner with his dad and sister. Oh, let me guess, the mom died?
I try to make it just like your mama.
Yeah, there you go, okay. It's not a decom unless somebody's parents are dead. Later at the boxing ring, we're introduced to Corbin's two best friends, Chuck and Earl. Yeah, they're not nearly as good as Izzy. Izzy's dad tells him that in order to move on to the Golden Gloves tournament, he must defeat the opponent of his exhibition match. The issue is, the other person he's going against is also undefeated. He goes by the name of Rodney, though some call him Big Rodney. Izzy isn't phased though, so he agrees to the fight and officially goes into training.
What's up, Tammy?
Hey, Jack.
Hi. What?
Oh yeah, there's this really stupid subplot where one of Izzy's friends has a crush on the only female boxer in the dojo named Tammy, and I guess the feeling is mutual. but it adds literally nothing to the plot, so I'm really confused as to why they added it in there. Towards the end of the day, Izzy watches Mary dance from her bedroom because their apartments are right next to each other. And it's just a little creepy, not gonna lie. They're trying to sell this mutual crush type romance with these two, but I'm sorry, I'm just struggling to buy it. The next day, Izzy takes his sister Karen and her friends to the double dutch competition since something came up with her dad. Along the way, they come across the neighborhood bully and Izzy's future boxing opponent, Rodney. He's picking on some kids and Izzy steps in to help, because I guess he's just that guy. Rodney's character doesn't move me at all, man. He is your basic stereotypical give me all your lunch money type bad guy, to be real with you. Later they arrive at the center where the double dutch competition is held, and we see that Mary and her friends are actually a part of a team. And these guys are good, really good. So good that even Izzy is starting to take notice. He starts to get really involved, more than he'd want to admit. But despite the girls' hard work, they only end up getting 4th place, and the opposing team mocks them for it. This causes an argument between the girls, specifically Yolanda and Mary. Yolanda thinks that the routine needs some serious work, but Mary thinks it's fine. She just needs Yolanda to watch where she's jumping. Not wanting to get involved in any of this, Izzy leaves, and yeah, I don't blame him. It was probably going to get ugly. In the next scene, it gets revealed that Rodney's father is going through a hard time financially, so the school set up a clothes drive for him. However, when Izzy sees all this happen, Rodney questions what he was looking at and throws the clothes away. It becomes obvious that Rodney's bad behavior is a result of his home life, which is the case for a lot of bullies. So despite beating Rodney in their boxing match later that day, good guy Izzy drops off the same bag of clothes that Rodney threw in the trash at his house. And considering that he just lost to him in the match, Rodney would never suspect that it was Izzy who did it. Meanwhile, Yolanda tells Mary that she's going to quit the double dutch team, despite them needing her to compete. Rightfully so, Mary is upset by this, and Izzy notices.
Don't jump, it can't be that bad.
Oh, yo, whoa, hold on, I wasn't expecting that joke from a decon, bro. That's kind of nuts. He tries to comfort her over what happened, and the two end up talking about how Izzy is now going to the Golden Gloves thanks to his win over Rodney. And I can't help but think that this romance subplot straight up did not need to happen in order for this movie to work. Izzy being such a good guy and having a solid relationship with everyone would have been more than enough to be the driving force of the plot. This movie isn't like Starstruck, where you needed these characters to be interested in each other in order for the plot to work. If Izzy is such a nice guy, then he would have helped Mary out even if he didn't have a crush on her. I mean, him wanting to do it simply because he likes her is just so bland and generic. Anyway, yeah, later Izzy overhears the girls talking about who to get to replace Yolanda. Turns out not only did she leave, but she also went to the Dutch Dragons, who are the best team. She literally just pulled a Kevin Durant, which is crazy. Izzy's under the impression that jump rope is easy, so it shouldn't be hard to find a replacement. So, Mary tries to show him how hard it actually is, but as it turns out, Izzy is a natural at it, probably due to the fact that he has to do it as part of his boxing practice routine. So later they ask him if he wants to join the double dutch team, but he immediately declines, saying that it's just simply not his style. But later, Maya's teammates explain that instead of becoming an actual member of the team, they just need him to simply fill in until they find someone else. He'd only be helping with the practicing and routine forming. And when they explained it like that, Izzy agreed. His only request is that it has to be before school and at the gym, so nobody sees him practicing with them. And they tell him that they have a deal. Izzy is on the team. But like, not actually on the team. Something like that.
Don't go away. There's so much more to tell. We'll be back with more Jump In Pop-Up Edition. We're back with more Jump In Pop-Up Edition here on Disney Channel.
During practice, Maya and the girls teach Izzy just how much of a sport double dutch really is, since he's under the impression that it's a pretty easy activity. And after a while, he starts to get the hang of it. During a montage, we see Izzy trying to balance his double dutch training with both the school life and boxing life. It goes well at first, but we soon see how much jump roping has been taking a toll on him, both physically and mentally. In school, he's not paying attention, and he seems to be unfocused while practicing in the ring. His dad definitely realizes that something is up, but what's even more challenging for Izzy is that while he was in training with the girls in the gym, fellow boxer Tammy spotted him, and later called him out on it in the ring.
Girl boxer 1, boy double dutcher 0.
That stare down was cold, bruh. She kind of killed that. You can't even respond when that happens. You just gotta accept the L. Later, he asked Tammy to keep things on the down low since he didn't want anyone finding out, and she agrees, but only under the condition that he stops making jokes about her being a female boxer. There's a legit flaw in this logic though, because the movie so far has presented Izzy to be a really well-rounded guy that everyone likes. Unless there's a deleted scene, or if my memory is just Swiss cheese, he never actually makes a joke about her being a female boxer. His friend did, but not him. But regardless, Izzy agrees. The next day, he gets inspired by a bunch of street kids to change up the jump rope routine. So he pitches the idea to Mary, and after a little convincing, she agrees. Izzy is clearly having a lot more fun than he thought he would while hanging with the girls, and it is seriously starting to affect his boxing practice. During a stroll with the girls, he comes across Rodney the bully. He gives some stereotypical Disney Channel bully monologue before Mary dumps a bucket of water on him, and they all do the dash afterwards. Oh wow, look at him everyone. Man, if you don't get your Sporticus from Lazy Town. This dude said. When Izzy arrives home, he has another chat with Mary. Blah blah blah, she kisses him, I cringe, standard decom stuff.
Oh, where have you been?
I was...
Wait, could the dad just like not hear him talking to Keke? I mean Akila, I mean True, I mean Katie, Mary. He gives him a speech about how he shouldn't be losing focus right now and that he needs to lock in. Izzy agrees, but later we see he's back to being on the double dutch grind. Unfortunately though, things are about to get even messier for him. While Rodney is going for a quick jog before school, he spots Izzy and the girls double dutching. He comes back with his friends and takes a bunch of pics. Surely he's not going to plaster the school hallways with these pictures and embarrass Izzy in front of the whole school in an attempt to get payback for him losing the fight. After practice, Izzy tells the girls that if they're willing to have him, he'd like to join their team full time since they're still in need of a fourth member. So, I take back what I said earlier about this movie not requiring a love story in order to carry on with the plot. In this scene, Izzy says that his friends don't have to know about what he's doing. And I feel like if he had just explained, oh, well, she's like a sister to me, I just wanted to help her out, it wouldn't have been a big deal. And yeah, him being interested in Mary definitely is a better choice to make the plot go along than what I had in mind. But like, you couldn't have chosen someone a couple years older so there wasn't such a weird gap? Was Keke Palmer's audition that good to the point where you couldn't have gotten anyone else? I don't know, it's not a big deal, and it's not as jarring as what happened in Starstruck, but it's still kind of weird. Now that it's settled that he'll be the group's fourth member, he tells them that there's one last thing he wants to change, the name. Their original name was Joy Jumpers, but he instead wants to go by the Hot Chili Steppers, an obvious parody of the band My Chemical Romance. So now they're officially ready to compete in the match. When Izzy's walking downstairs to head over there though, his dad stops him and asks where he's going. He says he's going to hang out with Mary.
Can I go?
You could, or you can hang out with your dad. The arena, Evans, Chavez, today.
Okay, I have a big issue with this. The dad clearly knew that Izzy had plans to hang with Mary, right? Izzy just said that. So for him to suggest that he ditches the plans he made with her just so they can go to a match together is kind of weird, no? I'm not a parent, but one of the first things I would teach my kids, besides not sticking the fork into an electrical outlet, of course, is to always keep your commitments. If you made plans with someone, keep them. And if you can't go for whatever reason, then explain that to them. I know those two wanted to hang out together, but like, Izzy already made plans, bro. Like, you can't just undo that. Before we see Izzy's decision, we get a glimpse of what's currently happening at the Double Dutch competition. As implied, Izzy does not in fact show up, which disappoints the girls as they make their way to the stage. We never actually find out how things went, but I mean, it's safe to assume things did not go well. And speaking of things not going well, back home, Izzy tries to apologize to Mary for ditching them last minute and says that he did in fact attempt to call. Remember, this was written in 2006 where you kind of had to call a person's house phone to reach them because not everyone had their own cell. It was a lot less common for teens to have phones back then than it is now. Despite his best efforts to apologize, Mary kicks Izzy off the team. And I mean, yeah, I totally get it from her perspective. Like, I can't even be mad at that. Later at the ring, Tammy's getting in some training and, alright, what's this dude's name? I've been calling him Izzy's friend all video. Micah, there we go. Micah starts scoffing at Tammy's skills, saying that she got in a lucky punch. Then Izzy tells him to knock it off.
Tammy's a good boxer. Yeah, for a girl.
Just because she's a girl doesn't mean she can't box. Just like guys can do other stuff too.
Okay. Great message. Horrible execution, though. I mean, Corbin might as well have been looking at the camera and telling us this directly. There's an episode of Kicking It that actually deals with a similar situation, and it's one of the best episodes of the show, so I'm not giving this movie the Disney pass. But I will give it, though, the 2006 pass. Like, I totally obviously agree with what he's saying, but like, it's just a little too preachy. Like, it's to the point where I was half expecting them to break the fourth wall and pull a Family Matters gun episode on some, "Hi, I'm Kelly Shanae Williams, and I'm Jaleel White."
So before guns even come into the picture, squash it. Squash it!
But yeah, what was I talking about? Oh yeah, good message. Could have done without the Captain Planet type execution, but it is 2006, so it's okay, I guess. I'll let it slide. As if things couldn't get any worse for Izzy, later at school he finds pictures of himself jump roping with the girls plastered throughout the school, and everyone is cooking him for it. Man, why are the girls laughing? Every single girl thinks he's lame for this? Not a single one thinks he's sweet? You would think at least a few would think it's nice that he's helping out. Bro, imagine one of these high school girls asking him to come over to her house to teach their little sisters some double dutch. And then the two get to talking and start to know each other and stuff. That would be such a W moment. What was it Greg from Everybody Hates Chris used to say? Dude, you are so in there. I think the worst part of the scene is that his friends start cooking him for it too.
You look real pretty.
Your mama looks real pretty.
Abra, I'm not gonna lie. This dude is the last guy that should be making yo mama jokes. If I was his friend and he came at me like that and I knew about the situation with his mom, I don't know. It might get messy. I'm just saying. Also, what kind of response was that, bruh? Hey, your mama look pretty. Like, thank you? That's how you know he don't got a mom. He don't even know how to use your mama jokes correctly. Why don't you curl up in a ball and watch Rugrats in Paris or something? Nah, let me stop. That's kind of crazy. That's kind of my fault, bruh. You know who I do gotta roast, though? This dude, Rodney. If I'm Izzy, I'm gonna hit him with the, yeah, okay, that's why you get free lunch, and run. I'm not taking that from him. I'm just not, respectfully. That's like the meanest I've ever been in my life, I think. I think I need to lie down for a second. I'm so sorry.
Take a breather. The Disney Channel original movie, Jump In. We'll be right back.
Let's jump back into the Disney Channel original movie, Jump In.
Alright, so we get one of those sad Disney Channel original movie montages where everything is going bad for the protagonist. Izzy's dad, Kenneth. Kenneth goes in Izzy's room to leave something that he received the night he won the Golden Globes or whatever, I don't know. But then he finds one of the papers from Izzy's school that he took home for whatever reason and questions Izzy about it.
You were slipping through my trash?
My house, my trash.
That's not how it works. I'm sorry. It's just not.
He's a part of the Hot Chili Steppers, Mary's Double Dutch team.
Izzy's dad questions why he didn't tell him about the whole double dutch thing, and Izzy responds saying that he wouldn't have heard him unless it was about boxing, especially since that's all they ever talk about since his mom passed away. He goes on further saying that he doesn't even enjoy it anymore, and it's not fair that his life has to get taken away simply because of the fact that he, as in his dad, doesn't have one anymore.
Just because you don't have a life anymore, it doesn't mean you need to take mine away.
Later, we get another sad montage that actually involves Mary swinging by the gym to ask if he wants to join the team again. But Izzy says he's not interested. He can't be a boxing champion if he's jump roping with a bunch of girls. He thinks that he has to lock in and focus on boxing, but it's obvious that it's not out of a real passion for it. He apologizes and continues to get some more training done, as Mary walks away rather upset. But just then, Tammy swings by and asks Izzy what's going on. She gives him a pep talk about how he shouldn't let all the haters stop him from doing what he loves, just like how she shouldn't stop doing what she loves because of the hate she gets from all the other boys. Tammy's low-key my favorite character of this movie. He ponders over the advice that he's received from everyone and heads out, but then Rodney and his boys pull up to cause him trouble.
What's up, daddy's boy? Where you running off to now? Ballet class?
Wow, what great dialogue that doesn't sound generic at all. Where'd you get it from? Our friend Martin? That's a good one. I like that one. Shout out our friend Martin, that's a banger movie. Rodney thinks that Izzy's win from earlier wasn't a fair fight because he allegedly slipped. So he demands a rematch. Right there and right now. So Izzy's like, alright, whatever, I'll do your silly little rematch. And somehow the entire gym is filled with teens from all around the neighborhood as Rodney and Izzy are about to begin their match. Seeing Corbin Bleu throw punches and stuff kind of reminds me how back in the 2000s, he was everyone's top choice to play Static if they ever did a live action film. And since we're on the topic of Static, his name is not and has never been Static Shock, by the way. It's just Static. Static Shock is the name of the show, but his name is just Static. Please stop calling him Static Shock, thank you. Anyway, Izzy tells him that there are so much more important things in life to worry about than this stupid match between them. So he gets out of the ring after refusing to fight him. But then, Rodney tries to go after him anyway and ends up falling on the floor. Ha ha, loser. Everyone tries pushing Izzy to finish him, but he doesn't want to. Man, he's a better man than me, because if I was him, I would've.
Nighty-night.
The narration dude says that deep down, Rodney didn't even want to be angry anymore. He just didn't know how to express those feelings. Nobody had ever stood up to him before, and he was kinda impressed. It was a moment that he, apparently, will never forget. Meanwhile, in case you forgot this is supposed to be a jump roping movie, the final Double Dutch tournament is about to begin. And just when the girls start losing hope that Izzy will show up, he does, and they welcome him back with open arms. Literally, actually. The match begins, and what do you know? Good old Randy shows up to see what's going on. I don't really know how to accurately describe what's going on in the scene, but they are doing a pretty solid job. And I guess the judges agree because they were able to move on to the next round. And they did another good job, I guess, because then they were able to move on to the next round as well. Sorry guys, I'm a basketball man, not a Double Dutch man, so I really don't know what's going on here. In the final round, the contestants are supposed to come up with whatever moves they want in order to wow the judges, aka this is the freestyle round. Izzy starts to get a bit nervous, but Mary reassures him that they have what it takes to win, regardless of how good the other teams are. So they all get on stage, but just as Izzy steps on, he sees his dad and sister watching from the crowds, supporting him as he follows his true dream. And that gives him all the confidence he needs to get the job done. They start off their act by turning all the lights off, revealing they're wearing glow-in-the-dark gloves and sneakers. They start really getting into the groove of things, and the crowd is on fire, roaring at the tremendous show they're putting on. And I'll admit, I was getting into it too. Yeah, the song we have all been waiting for. I was wondering where this was. Y'all ready to push it to the limit? Man, my memory for this movie was so cooked, I accidentally thought this was a High School Musical song for the longest. I'm gonna be real. They start the final act of their performance by doing a bunch of non-jump rope related dance moves. Okay, here we go. Finally, some jump rope action. Yeah, these guys are doing really well. I'm running out of stuff to say, not gonna lie. Like, they're doing a good job, I promise. Y'all hear about young Sheldon? That's messed up, right? Alright, so yeah, they finished their performance. Woohoo! Yeah, way to go! Mary's mom, who we are just now seeing at the end of this film, hugs Mary and Izzy catches up with his family. Izzy apologizes to his dad, but he actually ends up apologizing to Izzy as well. He was right. Boxing may not be Izzy's dream, and it wasn't fair to pressure him into doing it.
I'm so proud of you.
Let me guess, his mom would be too?
And I know your mom would be too.
Yeah, I know. Saw that coming. Oh yeah, these two are dating now, by the way, in case anyone cares. Izzy notices Rodney in the crowd and calls a truce, and Rodney agrees. Hooray! Dude's probably gonna ask for some money handouts now. The three winners of this tourney will be able to move on to the state finals. In third place is some team that hasn't ever been brought up until now. In second place are the Dutch Dragons, aka the team that Yolanda from earlier left to go join. And in first place are... Wait, hold on, what's going on here?
Did Mary and Izzy fall in love?
Whoa! The Hot Chili Steppers went to state.
You're telling me that this dude has been the narrator the whole time? He's the main character? Izzy is nice to him, and he was so touched by that now he tells stories to children. Whatever, I guess. So basically, he confirmed that they do end up winning in first place and competing for the state, but they unfortunately fell short, this year at least. However, they did go on to win the next year after, and Izzy and Mary are still dating. Izzy and the girls celebrate their win while the other teams watch, and the movie ends with Izzy's dad learning how to jump rope with Karen, Izzy, and the rest of the Hot Chili Steppers cheering him on. And that, my friends, wraps up the movie Jump In. It's been an interesting ride to say the least. I just knocked a bottle of whiteout off my desk. So, final thoughts on the movie Jump In. It's okay. For better or for worse, it is a Disney Channel movie that was made in 2006, and so there are a lot of cliches and writing tropes in this that I personally did not care for because I've simply seen them a bunch of times already. For instance, this movie was about a teen boy who, because of his interest in a teen girl, is endeavoring into something that he initially was not into. And because of this, his focus on his main hobby has been a bit off. So he has to choose between the dream that his dad wants him to chase versus the dream that he wants to chase. A mighty fine lesson to teach kids, right? No issues there whatsoever. Except for the fact that High School Musical did the same thing 1 year prior. So like, why teach the same exact lesson again on the same channel so soon after your biggest movie ever? I do kind of understand why it was so big back in the day and why it's still talked about currently, but I personally don't think it has aged particularly well. But it's also not like written poorly either. It's, like I said, just fine. Corbin Bleu as Izzy was fine. Keke Palmer as Mary was fine. The jokes were fine. It did have some cringeworthy moments, but I do kind of expect that from a Disney movie. So it's a product of its time, but I don't think it was bad either. I liked how, despite being filmed in Toronto, they managed to make this movie feel like it was in New York. I like the idea of Izzy being this neighborhood kid that everyone liked and respected. The jump roping choreography was really well done, and overall, I do believe that on a production standpoint, it was a well-made movie with good intentions. It just has some issues with execution, that's all. There are a lot of worse DCOMs for sure, and I do think there are some better ones. This one is just kind of in the middle, no Malcolm. I'll give it like 2.5 stars out of 5. I've seen a lot of people question why it never got a sequel, and to that I say, well, it kind of just didn't need one. The end of the movie revealed everything that we need to know about the future of Izzy and Mary. I think another big reason why this never got a sequel is due to the fact that Keke Palmer moved on to Nickelodeon for True Jackson VP, and Corbin Bleu's contract with Disney presumably ended with High School Musical 3. So despite Jump In doing really well on the channel, a sequel just never made much sense. But the legacy of Jump In will live on forever. Especially if this video does well. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please let me know in the comments section. Also, I have a Patreon where you can view my videos before they come out, for the most part at least, and you can watch the first hour of my Kicking It retrospective that I am currently working on. So boom, there you go. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you're new, and like always, I am Mr. Nostalgia, and I'm out for now. Peace.
Baby, this is Keke Palmer.